Guys, good morning. Uh, Excited to bring you guys this new video in the series for Three Pillars of World Chronology and its Biblical Foundation. This is part 3, and we'll be reckoning the years from Adam. So, been really busy, so apologize for not uploading sooner and keeping you guys waiting for those of you who have been. I got a new tablet, and hopefully this will improve the viewing. As I'm still using the screen recording app, X Recorder, I think it's called. You guys could see here. But yeah, hopefully this will improve it, so then that way, for those of you guys who view it on the desktop or laptop, it doesn't look super weird or anything like that when I hold my tablet sideways. But yeah, let's jump into this. So, Adam's creation and the Jubilee connection. In this presentation, we'll give a bird's eye view of the years from Adam to the various key points in history. And we will see how God has divided the world into 140 Jubilees and intimately connected them to the creation of Adam. The numbers given here will seem very strange to those only familiar with reading our modern Bibles, which are based on the Masoretic text and written in the medieval ages. All figures follow the longer chronology found in the Septuagint/LXX, which was the first official translation of the Hebrew scriptures into a foreign tongue, and this work was carried out in the reign of Ptolemy II, Philadelphus, according to the letter of Aristeas. So, LXX, those are just Roman alpha numerals, which just give you the number 70. And those of you not familiar with the letter of Aristeas, that is the source text for the history and creation of the Greek Septuagint as we know it today. And it's called that not because there are 70 books or anything like that, but because of the 72 elders, which were chosen by the high priest at that time. I believe the name Eleazar or Eleazar. The story goes that Ptolemy II was looking to amass his library collection in Alexandria, so he sent one of his royal librarians on a task to fill up his library with all the books in the world, and his royal librarian was like, hey, the Jews have these books that are very valuable and they'll prove useful to you. So yeah, I'll make a separate video on that. But pretty much the 72 elders were chosen to translate the Hebrew scriptures into Greek. Alright, so here are the numbers at a glance that I talked about in the introduction. So we see from Adam to his death are 930 years. From Adam to the flood are 2,242 years. And from Adam to Abraham, 3,489 years. From Adam to Moses, 3,919 years. Then from Adam to Saul, 4,430 years. And then from Adam to Babylon, 4,947 years. From Adam to Cyrus, 5,017 years. from Adam to Christ, 5,500 years, and from Adam to millennial kingdom, 6,000 years, and last Adam to the final judgment are 7,000 years. So, as you could see here, you if you're going to choose any starting point in world history to begin tracking time, Adam is the most logical person to begin with, because all evidence points to the creation taking place, and Adam is the first man to be created. So it makes the most sense to start with him, especially because the calendar year did not begin until the fourth day of the week. All right. And we could just really see here um, how reliable it is to track time beginning with Adam. But anyways, we'll get into more of the details in the future videos of this series, so you guys get a deeper dive. But these are the numbers at a glance. Now, for those of you who are interested, um, so the time from Adam to Abraham, that is not counting to his birth, but to the 75th year of Abraham. And when it says Adam to Christ, that is counting the time from Adam's creation to the time of Yeshua's death / Jesus's death on the cross. Okay? And then, yeah. Alright. So here, as you guys could see, we have Noah's flood. And the connection here, the 120 years of Noah, being equal to or parallel to the 120 Jubilees of Christ. To be sure that these figures and the timeline are confirmed by multiple witnesses, we only need to turn to the story of Noah. In his days, God gave mankind 120 years of repentance before sending the flood. This means Noah began to preach in his 480th year, and the flood occurred in his 600th year. In like manner, God has given mankind 120 jubilees to repent before the second coming of Christ. These parallels and types cannot be mistaken for anything else. So we have at the bottom 50 years times 120 jubilees equals 6,000 years. And as you can see by comparing these two paintings by Michelangelo, the Last Judgment, where Christ appears to judge the world, and the time of Noah's flood share very striking parallels. Okay, so the righteous are saved. The righteous are represented by Noah and his other 7 family members on the ark, and the animals on the ark actually are types of the Gentile nations. So Noah and his family, they represent the elect, or I guess they would represent the Hebrews or the Jews, and the Gentile nations are represented by the animals. And then the people outside of the ark who drown in the flood, they represent the sinners and unbelievers. And in like fashion, here at the Last Judgment, all the sinners will be raised back to life. For those who, the people who got into the ark, Prior to the last judgment, those are the people who reign with Christ for 1,000 years. Okay. All right. So here, just to um, do a little bit of review, and also for any people possibly jumping on now and haven't watched the prior videos in this series. Um, the whole timeline is based off of the creation week, which I've labeled here as a millennial week. That is what our 7 day weekly cycle represents. So at the top, we have a millennial day. Okay, in the Bible, the days of the week are not given names, they are simply numbered in order from 1 through 7. And it's not until later where we start using the secular names or pagan names. Okay, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all right, Sunday through Saturday. And then at the very bottom, we have the number 1,000 for each. Okay, that's because a millennial day is equal to 1,000 years. Okay, and then you add those up or multiply that by 7 days, and you have 7,000 years. Okay, so the 7 days of the week are types or signs of the millennial week. Okay, of a 7,000 year millennial week. Now, how to calculate that? And what relation does this have with the Jubilee? So, above, we see the formula. One Jubilee is equal to 7 weeks times 7 years plus 1 year. And then below, we have the cool little graphic that shows you that very clearly. So, to calculate a millennial day, you simply take the formula for calculating a Jubilee and you repeat that process 20 times, and that'll give you 1,000 years. Okay, so one millennial day is equal to 20 Jubilees, or 1,000 years. Now, a millennial week is equivalent to 140 Jubilees, and again, you calculate one Jubilee and then you repeat that 140 times. That'll give you 7,000 years. All right. Now here, again, we see the graphic for the millennial week, except this time we've placed the 20 Jubilees right at the top just to show how it all connects and lines up. Okay, so one millennial week equals 7,000 years equals 140 Jubilees. Okay, so at the top, as you can see, I put 20 Jubilees. That's what the J stands for. Okay, there are 7 of those, so that's 140 Jubilees. So it's pretty easy and simple to do the math on that. All right, now this graphic, this is to give us a visual of what I showed you guys earlier in this presentation. All right, so we have the weekly cycle at the top in the very middle, and then from there we have right next to day 1 it says Adam 2. Okay, and then an ellipses or 3 dots. And then below we have the events. So from Adam to his death, to the flood, Abraham, Moses, Saul, Babylon, Cyrus, Christ, millennium, and the judgment. And then on the in the top the top right corner, we have the LXX, just to signify that these numbers are based off of the Septuagint reading. And then below, I've given, for those of you who want to know, I've given the number of Jubilees that have passed from Adam to a particular event. So, for example, from Adam to his death are 930 years. That is the same as saying 18 jubilees in 30 years. So, if you want to calculate that, you know, just simply do 18 jubilees times 50 years. Okay, that'll give you 900, and then you add 30 years. That's Adam's death. And you pretty much follow that same process to check the rest of the numbers here in this graphic. But yeah, this I figured would be very helpful for you guys to see how the time unfolds very orderly in a timely fashion according to the scriptures. So God's timing is very orderly and precise. Um, it's not random, and when you line it up properly, it's actually very easy to follow. Okay. And then at the bottom, as you could see, from Adam to the last judgment, there are 7,000 years or 140 jubilees. All right. Now, from the creation of Adam to the banishment of Adam and Eve are 7 years. That means that Adam and Eve live in the garden for 6 years and they're expelled in the 7th year. Okay, and then from Adam's creation to his death, 18 jubilees in 30 years or 930 years. Alright, so that means Adam died 1 jubilee in 20 years or 70 years short of 1,000 years or 1 millennial day. Okay? Now, the picture on the right, it's actually not the death of Adam. I just thought it was a fitting picture to use. Just because I like Michelangelo's paintings and I wanted to keep the theme consistent in these presentations. This actual painting is called The Creation of Eve. But because Adam looked like he was dead, I thought it would be a fitting picture to put here for the death of Adam. Alright, conclusion. We see that God has intimately tied the creation of Adam with the 140 jubilees he set for the world to exist before commencing the final judgment on his creations. And here's an important quote. Who hath wrought and done it, calling the generations from the beginning? I, the Lord, the first, and with the last I am he. So, in short, God is speaking through the prophet Isaiah, saying that everything begins and ends with him. And here are some words from John in the revelation of Jesus Christ. And the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven, and sware by him that liveth for ever and ever, who created heaven and the things that therein are, and the earth and the things that therein are, and the sea, and the things which are therein, that there should be time no longer, but in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, as he hath declared to his servants the prophets. So I pull up this quote because it says that in the time of the seventh angel, or just above that, it says that this seventh angel will declare that there will be time no longer. In a lot of other translations, the more modern ones, they'll say there'll be no more delay. But that translation does not make sense at all, because in the actual Greek text where you see the word time, um, it's actually chronos, which is time. Um, so for the other translations that say there should be no longer a delay or delay no longer, that idea just does not make sense at all, because seeing that God created time and he allotted, he allotted a specific amount of time for things to exist and occur in the world until the end of time, it would not make any sense to say that God was delaying something. But yeah, so really, these two quotes are just to point out that God is the beginning and end of everything, and that there is actually going to be an end to time. A lot of people, I don't know, like get confused about that. Um, they have this weird idea that time is some loose abstract concept when in reality it's not. It's pretty simple to understand. If we if we are able to accept the fact that there's a beginning and end to matter, okay, that matter can be created and destroyed, and that all those who are born must die, then it would not be hard to accept the fact that time has a beginning as well as an end. Okay? So, um, this presentation is not only to, it's not just to, well, let me wrap this up. So, God has set a beginning and end for everything to exist. Therefore, it is crucial to know the beginning and end of time according to God's reckoning. So, that reaches the end of this presentation. Of course, there's my email, guys. You could reach out if you have any questions. And as time goes on, we'll be going deeper into the numbers that I have presented and show the validity of them. But otherwise, the big thing I want everyone to understand from this presentation, this is not just some knowledge presentation where I'm giving you guys some random knowledge. I'm trying to help you guys see that this is real. God set a real defined limit for the world and everything in it to exist. He set a defined time. And what I will eventually conclude at the end of this series, I will give you guys the exact year that we are in. Okay, in other words, I will tell you guys how many years have passed from Adam to our present day. Okay, and we're going to lead up to that. So stay tuned. Okay, understand that God has appointed a set time for everything. All right. Love you all. God bless.